Have you ever been creating a Power BI report and your design isn't right because the chart or slicer isn't sorting the way you want? Maybe your RAG status is alphabetical, showing amber first, or those budget categories that you really carefully created are completely illogical. If this sounds familiar, you're in the right place. We're going to tackle this really common Power BI challenge. Today, I'm going to show you 3 effective ways to sort any column in any way you need, no matter the values, plus one really common pitfall to avoid. Hi, my name's Anne from Adair-Major Consulting. We specialise in helping organisations with their technology and digital transformation journeys. Today, it's all about getting your data to tell its story in the right order. Okay, let's dive into our first method. Now, I will be honest, this one's a little bit hacky of a solution, but it definitely has its time and place. We're going to use our RAG status as an example. So RAG standing for red, amber, and green. Now, by default, Power BI will sort that alphabetically, which isn't very intuitive, opposed to RAG. So first up, navigate into Power Query. Find the column with your RAG status and right-click on it, and from that menu, you can select Replace Values. Now, this works just like find and replace in other applications that you might use, like Word or PowerPoint. For our value to find, we'll type green and we'll replace that with 3.green. Click OK. Now repeat. Amber, replace with 2.amber, and finally red, which will be replaced with 1.red. That will have replaced red, amber, and green with its corresponding new values with the number at front. Once that's done, click Close and Apply on the Home tab in Power Query, and that'll load all your changes back into your Power BI model. There you have it. Back in our report view, you'll see the RAG status, which was previously amber, green, red, is now correctly sorted as red, amber, and green, with our little numbers leading the way. So what's the verdict on this method? Well, it's quick, so it's good for short lists, but I wouldn't really fancy doing it for more than, say, 10 items. Then the numbers do show, which is the main trade-off, though sometimes you actually don't really mind, but if you're looking for a cleaner look, it might not be ideal. Our second method is a little bit more elegant and involves adding a dedicated sort column by using a fantastic feature in Power Query called Column from Example. So we'll head back into Power Query, click Transform Data on the Home tab. With your data table selected, go to Add Column tab, and here you'll see Column from Examples. From here, you're able to select the column which you want to use as the example to populate your new column. So here, I will select only the Project Health RAG column. Then on the right, you'll see there's a new column, and then simply just start populating that, letting it learn what the logic is. So for green, typing 3, amber 2, red 1. Notice how the Power Query will just learn that pattern and autofill for the rest of the column, which is pretty smart. Once you've created your new column, you're going to need to give that column a name. So in this case, RAG Sort Order, and click OK. Click Close and Apply in Power Query. So now that we have our RAG Sort Order column in our model, this is the clever bit. Select our original column we want to sort, so Project Health RAG column. And with that column selected, go to Column Tools and look for your Sort By column. Lets us tell Power BI to take the column we've selected and sort it by the order of another. So from the drop down, you'll see RAG Sort Order column. Now, just to keep everything looking clean, go over to the right-hand pane and just hide our new sort order column so that it doesn't get mixed up with anyone thinking that that is actually a value we want to use. All you have to do is right-click it, select Hide in Report View, and it's gone. And just like that, if we go back to our visual, we can see that the RAG status is again ordered by red, amber, and green. Exactly how we want it. So let's sum it up. Method 2 has a much cleaner look with no prefix numbers, as we saw in the first method. However, it could be quite time consuming for longer lists. So if you had a very long list of unique values, typing out the sort order in the column from examples could take quite some time. And it's not really super flexible. So if the sort order needs to change frequently, you're going to have to go back into Power Query and change that new column each time. Now for our third most robust and scalable method, plus what not to do coming up. So our third option involves creating a separate sort table, establishing a relationship, and then using a tiny little bit of DAX. Don't worry, it really is a tiny amount. To show how option 3 works, we're going to use a slightly more complicated example, the budget groups. First, let's go to our data view, and we need to create a new table that will define our sort order. On the Home tab, click Enter Data. A blank table interface appears, and in the first column, we'll call it budget group name, and I'll just paste in the budget group values I already have, exactly the same as they appear on my main table. In the second column, which we'll call budget sort order, I'll assign a numeric sort order, 1 for 0 to 50k, 2 for 50k to 100k, etc. And we'll just name our table something like budget group sort order table and click load. It's very much worth noting that here I'm choosing to create this table directly in Power BI using Enter Data. However, there's really no reason you couldn't have this sort order table stored in an Excel file, a SharePoint list, or another data source. You could then manage that sort order or even have someone else manage that sort order. Regardless of where that table is saved, the next steps are exactly the same, which starts off with creating that relationship between the new and existing tables. Go to Model View, then drag your budget group name column from your sort table onto the corresponding budget group column in the main data table. This is going to create a one-to-many relationship. Now, before I go any further, it's so important to let you know what not to do. This is where I've seen so many people go wrong from this moment. You might think, great, I'll use this new sort table in my visuals. And it'd be really easy to go to your group names, to sort your group names, and then in your report view, use the group names in the new table in your visual. And you know what? That will work sometimes. What's really important though is that you need to avoid doing this because of how relationships and filtering works in Power BI. If you use the budget group name from your new sort table in your visual, any values in your main data table that don't have a matching entry in your sort table, perhaps due to a new budget category appearing, which isn't in your sort table, then those rows would be dropped from the visual and your data would be incomplete and the numbers could be completely wrong. So this is a really important point. We want to make sure that we sort the data we have and not accidentally filter any out. Now that we know that, let's go back to the correct way of doing it. We have our new sort table and we've created the relationship already. So let's use it in the correct way. Heading over to the data view, you can make sure that your main data table is up. So the one with all the project data here. So under Tools, click New Column, and this will add a new calculated column to our main table. A DAX formula bar will pop up at the top. We are absolutely dedicated to showing you no-code and low-code solutions, so I assure you this really is as easy as DAX gets. Everything to the left of the equals is where we're going to name the column. So budget group actual sort order. Then on the right is where we put our formula. So at this point, it's really like Excel. We need to use the related function. So we're going to start typing related. And as you'll see, it's auto-populating and suggesting the related function. What related means is that we'll use the relationship to return a value from our other table. Within the brackets, it's intuitively suggesting what we might want to pull. So in this case, we want the value from the sort order column. Closing our brackets, our formula should look something like this. Clicking enter. Power BI will then populate this new column in the main table. For every single row, it looks at the budget group name, uses that relationship we created, and finds the matching row in the sort table, pulls across the sort order number. Great. Now from here, it's really similar to our second method. Into column tools, using that sort by column feature, making sure that the group names are selected, clicking the sort by column button and selecting the sort order column, so our new column, using the numeric values there to order the text fields in our group names. And then just hiding things up, hiding the new column and the order table so that they don't appear in our report view. We can see now in the report view that our budget groups are now in the correct logical ascending order. Perfect. This last method, where we create a sort table, really is fantastic. It's great for longer lists. It's much more manageable than manually typing out sort orders for many items. And you can manage the sort order in an external file like Excel or on SharePoint. You can even delegate out the maintenance of that sort order to somebody else in the team without them needing to have any access to the Power BI file itself. The only thing that puts people off is that you do need to write DAX. But as you saw, it truly was just one simple line. The hardest bit is knowing that related is a function that you can use. But now you do, and it's straightforward and incredibly powerful in lots of other different use cases. And there we have it, 3 effective ways and one really important way not to order and sort any column in Power BI, no matter what the values you're working with are. Thanks so much for watching, and if this tutorial helped you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for future tips and tricks. You might have noticed within my demo that I had rather a neat color-coded rag slicer. If you're wondering how to create a dynamic, colorful slicer like that without writing any code, be sure to check it out with our other video on that exact topic.